Hello and welcome to Royale Without Cheese, our bi-weekly podcast in which we discuss both the classic and the unknown of art and popular cinema from the then and now. We are your hosts, me, Tomás Ferreira, Miguel Aido,
Hey.
and Leonardo Miranda.
Good to be here.
As part of our awards season segment, we'll be looking at the likely contenders for the 2026 Oscars. Today we talk about one battle after another, but before any ado, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, or simply give us a like. One Battle After Another is a 2025 American dark comedy action thriller written, directed, and co-produced by Paul Thomas Anderson. Inspired by Thomas Pynchon's novel Vineland, the film follows an ex-revolutionary who is forced back into his former combative lifestyle when he and his daughter are pursued by a corrupt military officer. An adaptation long in the making for Anderson, it's his most expensive film to date and shot in VistaVision, a retired format since the 1960s. One Battle After Another had its world premiere in Los Angeles, receiving widespread critical acclaim and having received 9 nominations at the Golden Globes. It's only a matter of time until we soon see PTA at the Oscars. However, were the misadventures of Bob, Willa and company to the licorice taste of the three Royale amigos, or was it all a flower power phantom that lost its thread, paling in comparison to previous boogie delights in the master's oeuvre? Friends, what do we say?
You're just dying for those film puns.
Yeah.
How many did you do? Boogie the Master?
Boogie the Master, Licorice.
Phantom, oh my god, Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that one.
Yeah.
Magnolia was too much.
I can't put them all, otherwise it gets overloaded, you know?
Otherwise it gets
Magnolia.
no.
What, who, me? Make
Me?
puns? No.
I wouldn't be too far.
But yeah, One Battle After Another, the latest PTA installment, rightfully due to do this one in English, since we did a double bill in Portuguese for the Portuguese audience.
Yeah, we already treated
But,
the Portuguese.
Yeah, so now
Yeah.
comes the rest of the public.
I think this was the fastest I've ever rewatched a film
The
of
fastest.
his.
What does
Yeah,
that
because, I mean-
mean? Exactly. Oh, fastest in terms of like the last
Yeah,
time you
yeah,
watched the.
yeah,
right.
exactly.
I think I thought it was emotional, like the fastest I wanted to go and like grab it.
Yeah, at the time I wanted to, but then it just faded out and, But, I mean, it was like a couple of months ago that we watched that it came out, so it was still kind of fresh and, yeah, still, still a very, very good movie. I think it was much that didn't think it was that, like, comparatively good as the others. I think it was your opinion, right?
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, is that
A fair
am I being
characterization?
fair?
Let me be very clear. It's like this. I was describing in a subjective way because I cannot speak for other people, but I think it's understandable when I say, and I think other listeners will feel the same. It's not uncommon that this film comparatively is not as emotionally poignant as other films of
Compared
Anderson.
to what?
Phantom Thread, Magnolia, Licorice Pizza, even those films, for example, even The Master, which Master is more colder, but I have to say those films in particular, or Punch Drunk Love, they send me up to the moon and back again. I am sent up to the moon and back again because naturally their conflict is much more internal than external. Here, you do have emotionality to the film, don't get me wrong, and there's a lot to it that I like because of that set emotionality that exists, otherwise it would be a barren land of desert. That's not the case, but it's just a different beast. This is not to say, by way of synonym, that I'm saying that this film is the worst of PTA or is a bad film. By far, it is not that the case. It is a very good film. It's PTA after all. It has very PTA. It has
It's
very
PTA.
interesting ideas. Very interesting ideas. Starting by the fact that I really love that when he picks up this notion of revolutionaries and the past that comes back to haunt you, the very thing that is most interesting to me in the film by way of the narrative, its narrative tissue and its emotionality, what keeps you cling to the story, is the fact that he picks up these archetypes within a family and he doesn't let them be stereotypes. Perfidia Beverly Hills is not the caring, loving mother who gets left behind with the child while the father is a distant father who goes away and never calls back, whatever. The father is actually the one who is much more caring, who is the stay-at-home, who is kind of lost, doesn't know what to do with his life. and she's the domineering one. She's badass. There's a lot in that respect to kind of admire and respect in her, in the way that she carries her values, but also she's an imperfect hero. I don't like her in some other ways, in the ways that she just leaves her family behind to go live some kind of these ideals, and the way that she responds back to him, I am the revolution, or whatever, that kind of stuff, which, that has a
The
time and
revolution,
place,
baby. Yeah.
but not now. Like, see what you have in front of you. And then there's so many decisions that she does wrong, by going off with that right-wing, jackass, Lockjaw, completely betraying kind of the relationship that she has with Pat, having a kid with him. Like, where is this going? And
No.
and she
Wait,
gets
what?
lost
That
in
one
her
is
role.
less
Well, I think
smart.
it's
She
okay.
betrays the movement and gives people's names up and things like
That too, that is integrated. But
But I
that
don't
too.
see it as like
Or-
she's
or is that
betraying Pat
completely?
in that sense. Like she's
Because she was being coerced. So
she's being coerced into being a snitch. But it's not like she's, oh, I love
I'm
this
not talking about
Lockjaw
that.
guy.
I'm talking about the sex before that. Before
Yeah,
the
but she
witness.
was being-
Even then,
protection.
like that's coercion too. Yeah,
yeah,
I would
he
say
he
so.
approached her in the bathroom and said, "Meet me at whatever."
If you want to keep doing what you're doing, you'll meet me at, and he gives the address. Like, I mean, it's pretty clear.
I was
what he
debating
suggests.
myself with that. I was debating myself with the coercion bit, but it happens in this kind of two-edged sword kind of way where she.
Yeah, it's a little
No,
ambiguous the way it's portrayed.
performative, right? I was looking at it and I was thinking it kind of feels performative, but does she want it? Does she not want it? Does she feel attraction by him? Does she not feel
I
attraction?
think she's
I was
selling
kind of
it.
conflicted.
Yeah, I
was
think she's
conflicted
selling
with
it
what was
a bit.
exactly.
Because of when she leaves the
Telling it,
bathroom.
right? I was saying, there's a performative aspect to it. And what cued me to it as well was the way that she leaves the place as well, with kind of this forlorn, head down kind of way, which makes me, more than the first time around, I thought, maybe there's a certain sadness about this. The coerciveness that I forgot, but that I knew of in the first moment in the bathroom. There is clear coercion, but then when the scene happens, in the motel with all the music that makes it feel like
Soldier
light
Boy,
and
yeah.
everything,
Yeah, true.
it just contributes to an air of like, is she aware of like the gravity of the situation? So it left me. I'm never sure how to feel regarding this character. If she is at the controlling things, wanting or not wanting this, and I think that's what he wants ultimately. Anderson to kind of feel that she's not easy to pinpoint. But it's this, and
And I
later
enjoy
on.
that, in terms of her character, with the fact that
This is
she
not when I
sells
speak of
out.
these things. I don't speak of narrative flaws, mind you. I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm
but
not
but
even saying
what
that. Yeah.
what I was gonna add was beyond that, which I enjoyed, and I think it makes for an interesting character, especially her ratting out her, co-conspirators, or co-revolutionizers. For me, the problem is by the end, the whole letter, reading the letter aloud with the happy music scene, making it seem like she always cared about her, and she was always this person that wanted to be in her life. We just don't see that person up
I
until
don't
the
think the
moment
film
that
ends
she
well
leaves.
on it, to be honest. I think it's my
Yeah,
least favorite part of it. It just doesn't stick the land. It's like
yeah,
it's a little corny even, like, because it's not.
But it does make you question what came before.
yeah,
There's an
no,
utility to
that
what came
scene made
before.
me question the
The
character.
two-edged sword. But it does also. Where are we with this? We're with the character, But it has its potency in the beginning. I do agree that. But it's a character that is difficult to like, because she makes
She's
all these kinds of
complicated.
choices that are
I
not
mean, and it's like it's a
admirable.
truthful characterization of like revolutionaries. Like they're human beings. A lot of them are like flawed and they have their impulsiveness. Sometimes they're driven by desire, and this is something that goes very much also in Pynchon, which is he likes to portray people as having like a libidinal need to control or to control others, and like with Perfidia is like she's very different in the book, I think. So I don't even know how to characterize her in the book, but in here, like, she's almost, it's more, it's not in the book, she's a lot more, she wants to be, it's like she wants to submit to power and has like an urge to submit, whereas like
Oh,
I feel
really?
like yeah, Anderson didn't want to portray her in that way. He kind of inverts it, like she she doesn't want to be controlled. It's like she's always trying to even run from Bob. It's like she says it as if like he's trying to exert some power on her and she's running away from it. So I think the character is very, I don't want to say confusing, but in a way, she's kind of very difficult to pinpoint emotionally. And she's flawed, I think, to say that she's not flawed. I've seen some people who have a bit difficulty admitting like why some might not like her as a person, why I think she's not entirely good. And I do think she has good things, but she's complicated and flawed. Like, I mean, she's pregnant and she's shooting guns and drinking. Like, that's not, you totally understand why Bob is saying it's like she doesn't even realize she's pregnant. And then there's that cut to Regina Hall's face, and she's like, she doesn't say anything, but you understand, like, she's, I don't know, I feel like a disappointment in her. She's not happy about the way Perfidia is acting.
It's like she's not accompanying the others, growth into maturity. I mean, yes, okay, they still are revolutionaries, but bigger things appear and develop, like families.
Yeah, and that's basically the center of the film, is that the cross between the political and the systemic versus like who you are and like the people that you care for, and how sometimes, revolutionaries, like suddenly you have someone you need to care for, like maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a child, and suddenly like that makes it difficult for you to continue this revolutionary idea, because it's that thing, the personal and the political coming. Which one do you choose? Sometimes you have to choose, and it's like with Bob, he chooses to stay with Willa and raise her, and at the same time he's frying his brain with drugs and alcohol, so he's forgetting the things that he should remember. And I think it's interesting because Willa does actually remember a lot of the things, like she knows the passwords, and she's constantly, and it's also another thing is interesting is how the film mocks that thing of the password, with Comrade Josh being like overly bureaucratic. But at the same time,
nitpicky brick.
Yeah, you're nitpicking brick. But at the same time, it does come in handy a lot of times. Like, it does seem to help them. So I think it's interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, speaking to the attributes of the film that are interesting, we're speaking about the main relationship, Perfidia, Pat, and so on, who they are as characters, and how that there's a subversion of the inherited kind of stereotypical roles of father and mother, which makes it interesting. And also the fact that structurally wise, what's interesting to me and what makes the film good to me, despite me saying that comparatively there's not as much of a complex internal conflict as I see it in Punch Drunk Club, There Will Be Blood, The Licorice Pizza, that makes me fall in love for the characters. It isn't. I mean, I don't fall in love for the characters per se as I do in those other films. That I was in the cinema and I was like up and down, went to heaven and back to earth. But the things that I liked, the subversion of the rules, and the fact that you have this access to this revolutionary world, counter-revolutionary world, and then the falling apart of that so quickly when everything goes to shit because of Perfidia's actions, and everybody gets killed and Pat has to go away. And it's really in the inherent rules of that world, using the little radios that combine, you can hear the melody to track another person that is near you, and the passwords, all these things that Lenny was talking about, they make it super interesting, super safe, but also a pain in the ass, to kind of get around to. And the idea that so much time would pass that those passwords would mean shit to someone who is like emotionally in turmoil, traumatized by what happened, and it's kind of always on looking around if something bad will happen. I'm talking about Pat, of course, but at the same time, almost already in this relaxed state that I'm just here remembering the glory days, watching Battle of Algiers, quoting it, it's his comfort place, and then suddenly, oh shit, what happened? And he's like, okay,
Paranoid, man.
Step one. I was laughing my ass off during that moment where it's like, all right.
And he takes another one.
Takes another one, and the camera is going in on him, and he's like he gives that Liam Neeson line, okay, but do what you gotta do.
What you gotta do.
You're still seated on your couch, and you're saying, do what you gotta do. like he's saying, I'm a man of very special skills. He's in his robes and shit. And it's so funny to me, like, then the film goes on to funny land, as well as the fight to freedom. It's very funny. And yeah, it's kind of the breaking down of that world, and him trying to find some sense of savior of help with the character of the sensei played by Benicio del Toro, who is of course a legend in this film. He completely subverted how his character would be introduced in this film, which would be, I think, Pat finding him on his dojo killing somebody, and it's like Benicio said, you can't introduce him like that, you know. How am I going to save Pat if already I'm a killer? No, I need to be like a savior, you know, peace lover, you know, kind of thing. And he's quite silent, and he's quite contained, and he's quite even in the face of danger, and that's what makes him super interesting. And when you get in the dojo, when you get in his apartment, which is not above the dojo, but his wife's store, where he has that sort of illegalis situation that he's helping out, that was a brand new thing too, you know, which PTA incorporated because Benicio said we need to show another layer to his life that shows him as this person who is the right man to contact when shit goes down. And he's so calm in the face of danger. And meantime, in his like handheld camera, you really feel the urgency of the moment. And while you're revealing these things about this character, Benicio, you're also showing, again, the passwords. Clicking off the phone, talking with comrade Josh, and trying to get the fucking what's the time answer, which he doesn't have, which is an escalation that it's very funny and elucidative of how this world of like passwords and liberal prick sometimes it just takes itself too seriously and goes nowhere. But yeah, I think it's very interesting because it paints a very specific world. I think, you know, that it's filled with mystery. It's filled with mystery through and through. You know, how he's going to get out of here. And then there's the Sisters of the Great Beaver kind of monastery. Just worlds within worlds. That's what I mean to say. Riddled with riddles, and
don't forget the Christmas Adventures.
The Christmas Adventures.
That's so funny. Christmas Adventures. The name to like a neo-Nazi.
Hail Nick.
Yeah.
Fucking moron.
When the guy, like the hitman, goes up to the house of like the leader of this cultish thing, and there's the sing along thing of the Christmas song that makes it light. It's so funny, and it's they're just so overly serious. And what gets me every time we see this cultish thing when they present themselves to Lockjaw and it could be part of us, yada yada yada, is the fact that even then, even to someone coming in, they are prejudiced. It's always this notion of hierarchy of like you are beneath us. Like I'm not going to receive you at my daughter's wedding, but it's for you because you are dressed differently. So we're here for you. No, it's because he's not wearing a tuxedo and you don't want him to show up like the doofus he is. Like even then they are like with the sense of disgust. You are not quite part of the club, even though we want you here. So it's awful, and I think there's a particular deliberate choice in killing Lockjaw, and yet him surviving and then having him die a second death, in which he returns to the mouth of the wolf, so hopeful. You know, it's presented to that office space, which Leonardo DiCaprio has described as this ridiculous thing where he's presented with this IKEA anonymous desk, this view to what you can almost describe as just a highway. I don't see the view, but you see a little bit of it. So it's this urban landscape, very bland. And it's very like, oh, yes, finally. So ridiculously happy that you kind of feel a certain sadness for him.
Sadness.
But I did discuss this with you. That my empathy with him came with the fact that it was not the love that he had for Perfidia, which I did not consider love and you did consider. I did not see that. What the empathy that I got was of someone, the human being that I saw at the end of Lockjaw, which was of someone who really wanted to belong to a place, to a group, thinking that would give him a higher sense of purpose, as we all sometimes seek to belong to a place to give us purpose, and then to be just rejected in the worst possible way, which is to be killed by your own friends, so to speak. That's horrible. You know, you can feel the human in the moment. That's what I thought was sad, even though he wasn't.
But he showcases that throughout the film, which is why I didn't just have that feeling at the end. I mean, he always seems to be someone that is very contained and clearly not showing his true emotions and some level
I agree.
of pressed down feelings and you know, you see this in so many ways, regarding Perfidia and sexuality, regarding Willa.
You did describe that love as a true love. Like he loves her. That's what you told me at the time. He loves her, you know.
I didn't know if I said that he truly loved her. You go search the chat.
Oh, now I don't know now, but
I mean,
very long to go back to chat.
Maybe I said that out of like
I remember
I don't
specifically
know,
telling
man.
you,
I don't know.
how can it be true love? He's expressing love in the way that an abuser would express love. And you're like, no, no, yes, yes. The words that are coming out of his mouth is not like true. He has a warped sense of love. He wants to control her, but it's not like, he barely knows her. So he might feel attracted by her, but I think he wants, he is what he is, an alt-right man.
I think it's some sort of feeling of maybe obsession, lust. I don't know. I think I've said this before as well. Love perhaps is not a very, it's definitely not a good word, but it's some level of very strong feeling, and I think that is present in the film.
You can argue
Um,
as well, to add to the bag, that he may feel lonely and the repressed feeling situation. Sure, okay, that might contribute to it. I
yeah,
can
yeah,
see
that
that.
definitely helps. Yeah,
The love thing is what I question, but yes.
but I think all of these elements throughout make you sympathize. I mean, he's still an abject person, but I mean, there's a degree to which you
Of
can,
humanity.
yeah. And again, I think in this I definitely mentioned before, it has to do with Sean Penn's acting as well. He humanizes the character very, very much, and he always puts a degree of vulnerability in him. Even the way he controls his gait, gait in terms of the way he walks. I mean, even
Mhm.
that sheds a light on his vulnerability. It's like he's you're distracting my but I mean,
Illustrating your love for Lockjaw.
among the
Yeah.
many things that he puts to the character, his gait, I think also showcases that vulnerability. I mean, it's like he's walking, trying to be the bigger person, but he's still very discombobulated and very, what am I doing? Going like in this way, walking
Mhm.
and controlling the room, but it's never truly authoritative. I think
Hmm,
it's a
hmm.
shadow of that, and
Yes,
I think
yes,
that's very
yes.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think we also mentioned this before, but that montage sequence not very great as well.
Montage sequence.
The sort of
The prologue. That's the beginning.
Yeah. It's not
no,
that it
no, no,
isn't
no, no,
great, but it's
the
definitely.
specific one that occurs when they're growing old. No, not really. It's when we see their relationship developing and she becoming a mother and the fights that they have already being parents. It's basically after, yeah, sorry, Perfidia and Pat, after they already have a relationship, and then the little moments that sort
You
of
see, to me,
flash forward very quickly between their relationship, she leaving the
that whole
house.
beginning
It's
is
a
like a
little rushed.
huge montage sequence.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's one of the reasons why it contributes to the film having little emotional weight to me, is because he's trying to relay a lot of information, a lot of highs and lows. Like we are going to a crescendo to the moment that all this series of assaults, of terrorism attacks, which are constructed, goes to the sex act, pregnancy, changing life, and then change to another point, which is the falling apart, Perfidia, Misty, then getting arrested and ratting on everybody, and then core of the story where you breathe. And it's difficult for me to kind of like be enthralled by the environment as much as I would be, for example, in Phantom Thread, which is like you're in this world now, the huge violins, etc. You're immersed in it. It's very haptic feeling, and you are carried by this one character. And so it's you're being like it's an avalanche of like details and this world that you're trying to see how it operates and etc. It's one of the I understand what he's trying to do. I don't blame. It doesn't make the film a bad film. I'm not by any means saying that. But by the reverse of it, of the medal, is that you do feel like you don't spend a lot of time. One of the things I described with the characters per se, a lot of room to breathe or waiting moments. When you do have that, is years later. You almost have that line years later, although it doesn't appear, but it feels like it, because that's where the moment you see them. I see them having a conversation, daughter and Pat. That feels real, but it's all very on the run constantly.
Yeah, but that's like the film is
It's
about
intentional. I know.
constant movement. Like the movie, it's very interesting that the way she defeats the guy at the end is by stopping the car completely still, which is sort of what the movie hasn't done. It's like there's
Yes.
always
Yes.
even like that scene between Benicio and DiCaprio in the car where he's talking about I can't do her hair right. He's like, "Don't go dark on me, Bob." But like in the background, like the car is moving and moving and moving. It's like I think it's a very good
I like that
encapsulation of the
moment.
film.
That
It's
was
a beautiful
interesting.
moment. It's one of the
Because he
best
finds
moments.
these ways to really express emotionality with beautiful imagery that is expressed through words or little moments. Like that, for example, I thought it was a very touching thing.
I think it's one of the
Uh,
best for sure. I do think like one of the things that I wish the movie had more is after the beginning montage that we did spend a little more time with Willa and Bob, like developing their rapport and their
Yeah,
relationship
that's
so
what I
that you
wanted to
felt
arrive at.
yeah, we talked about it before as well, which is so that then you feel them being broken apart a bit more, that you feel more that distance. You still feel obviously it's father daughter. You know that they want to be together again, and you really feel his a need to get his daughter back. But I like just a little, just one more scene, maybe something between them. You do have it, and it's a very funny scene that when her friends pick her up and he's like, "Hey, homie, you cool, homie? You cool?" Like,
It's super
you
yeah,
guys,
passive
you're
aggressive.
not you're not
yeah.
you're not that loud.
You're not that loud,
I'm gonna
yeah.
do, yeah, I'm gonna do the exact same thing you do to her when you arrive home.
What?
I'm in my mind.
The
Sean
guy.
Penn told that story. Sean Penn has
Wait,
told a
what?
similar story.
Wait, what?
Sean Penn has told a similar story on a chat show where he did say that thing to a date that went on with his daughter when she was younger, like 16. So I like to think that somehow on set Sean Penn told that story and PTA used that with Leonardo DiCaprio because it was the same words. Whatever you do with her, I'm going to do to you the exact same thing. He said that
Sean Penn is a
on
little
Graham
crazy.
Norton show.
Didn't he meet with El Chapo or something like that for Rolling Stone?
Oh,
Like,
that's familiar
yeah, I
territory.
think
Yeah.
Sean Penn did that. That's not.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
But
You're an
he's a
actor.
cool, he's a cool dude.
At the same time, he goes to Ukraine and shoots, the war, etc. So I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I get that the whole thing is sort of an overarching montage sequence, but I was speaking specifically toward the end of it when we're more focused specifically on them growing up or growing old, and with the birth and Willa already being born and the distance between Perfidia and her because she keeps wanting to be involved in the French 75 life. And to me, yeah, it really reflected how then, you know, the relationship is just not properly done. I think that's where it fails. It's not seeing enough of that, as you said. I mean, yeah, I think, and again, then it pops up again at the end, which we already said with the scene of the letter, which again, I'm not saying fabricates, but conjures up feelings which again we didn't truly see of her wanting to reconnect with her mother that in that way, especially because afterwards, which I think is even
No, I
worse,
think I think we
she
do
completely
see.
turns into the lifestyle too with the radio checking and then going to Denver. It's like, does she really want to be a revolutionary too? Where do we see her desire to be in this life and to want to follow her mother's footsteps somehow?
I think,
Just
yeah, no, it's a little
If
weak.
she had remained in that first initial stage of like my mother is a hero, maybe. But like you said, and well, Mike, the fact that she is revealed as a rat, she then comes to have mixed feelings about her mother, and so does the letter and being in that lifestyle justified by the end with her leaving the house and getting on the car and the radio and etc. going to the
because
protest
think
and
about it. I
everything. I
mean,
don't know.
she learned she was a rat. Then she's taken to the house. She learns nothing new. She gets saved. Okay, she reunited with her father. There's nothing about the relationship with her mother that after learning she's a rat would change her outlook towards her. That would redeem her image in her mind. So I really don't understand why at the end it's not a closer relationship with the father, and instead it's with the mother. I mean, it's still with the father. I mean, she hugs him. She clearly looks at him, with a bigger smile and everything. But there's this huge part with to do with the mother and the letter and the searching for the radio and getting involved, which I really don't understand where it came from. Especially considering everything she went through. I mean, very traumatic. She was kidnapped, close to death. She shot someone. She killed someone. And I don't know. It's like the film is saying this is, oh, I got the taste of it, and I want to do this.
For example, being at the Sisters of the Great Beaver Convent, being there with Regina King, Regina Hall, King,
Regina Hall.
Regina Hall. I'm thinking. I don't know.
Brenda from Scary Movie.
Brenda from Scary Movie, exactly. Being with her, like someone who knew her mother, it could be, but also her father, could be a perfect opportunity to have this other character speak of her father in a kinder light, which I think she does at some point, but not to an extensive portrayal, which could be a click moment that adds to the flavor of how she sees her father differently by the end when he shows up behind that stone edge with the rifle and they reunite together, which is a beautiful moment, of course. But we only have that almost, like, is that beautiful moment of like the act itself of re-encountering my father, this figure that I was with in the very beginning, at birth, so to speak, is relief, of course. But interiorly, what do I know anew of my father? It would be great, like you said, she didn't learn anything anew of her mother, but perhaps it could be even more fruitful to learn something anew.
That he's not her father. Like
she learned that. Yeah, exactly.
But she is her mother.
She is her.
So
no, but what I was gonna say is that like Perfidia is supposed to be like a ghost haunting the story, but it doesn't really work. I think it's very weak the way it's done. It's just there's something missing about the feeling, that weight of the absence of the mother that then is also the absence of the father. But like that, I don't know. There's something missing there. That's why again the letter at the end feels kind of forced and not addressing the central tension of the film, which is supposedly, at least that's the way I was seeing, which is she had an idea of her mother as this great revolutionary, and now she's learning she was a rat. And like the daughter of a rat is still a rat, like the nun says, and then she's talking with Lockjaw, and she's screaming, she was a rat," or something like that. She was a traitor. It's like there's a breakdown of the image that she had of her mother, which is interesting. And then the end kind of, so what? Like undermines that, because now she's reading a letter with her mother being all cutesy. It's like feels a little fake. I don't know.
Yeah, and more, because in that scene with Lockjaw where she screams that, she also says, "You are not my father. I already have a father," which adds to the idea of, it would be a perfect opportunity in the convent for Regina to have like a real conversation about what her father has done for her, and maybe a little bit more insight about the fight that was creating all of this to keep you safe, because if she was already carrying, we started with them two fighting and her disagreeing with the lifestyle, with everything, with the secrecy, and so that could be a full turn point right there and then for them to justify the line, "You're not my father, I have my own father," because otherwise it almost feels like the more accurate line for her would be, "I have no parents, I have no one." Not that she would say this, but that would feel more emotionally accurate for this character, who doesn't feel right with any parents at this point, than to say, "I already have a father." What, the father, Pat, that you...
She loves her father, like, clearly. Like,
I guess, but I don't know.
It's very
the way they carry each other, it's like very cold,
I think
it feels very much detached. You think?
That's wrong.
That initial scene, I felt a lot of Bob. She calls her father Bob.
Something. I don't just.
Sorry. I was laser focused on. Yeah.
No. I was gonna start a sentence with "I think." No, I think that the only thing that she may have held on to in terms of shifting the mindset towards the mother is when she considers that maybe the Lockjaw raped her mother, and perhaps that she wasn't this super terrible person that she had imagined, and perhaps a victim of something. But at the same time, I'm not sure if that's enough, and also because then Lockjaw says she loved her. So I mean, if she loved them, if he loved her, would they really have not had something genuine? So perhaps that is not really, the theory. But I don't know. I think it's maybe a thing that she could have used to shift. But again, I think it's not enough, and it's not very obvious. Like it's not like she hears that and, "Oh, okay, yeah," and we can see her change. It's just a passing thing, I think, in the dialogue.
There's something missing. I think that's ultimately what I'm getting at, and you're getting.
And that's why other PTA movies have led me to heaven. This one I liked it very much, but just not in the same vein as other
you did the
films.
thing. You did the thing I said.
I did the thing. Yes.
But yeah, exactly. I like the film. I think it's great, but. obviously.
Also, I feel compelled to say this because there's such a reaction online to this film as to one of the greatest films in such a long time and one of the masterpiece of PTA. I'm like, is it?
I don't know if people say that. They say it's a great like spectacle and it's one of the best like blockbusters in a long time. And it's
Casper
true.
saying it that it's an original piece, well, it's an adaptation, but a film that has an authenticity to it that escapes all those Marvel movies, all those big action films.
That's what you
Even
have to
though it is an
remember.
action
The
film.
standard that we've been living on.
Yeah, compared
It's
to
a
that,
good
yes,
step up.
yes.
Because you're comparing it to other PTA films, you should be
Yes.
comparing it also
It
to
depends
other
to what you are comparing
blockbusters.
it.
Yeah.
If you're saying that, of course, it's a blessing in a barren desert of Hollywood production. Yes.
Especially when it's both critically acclaimed and worked very well in box office. So
I
it's
think
a good mix
by my
of
research, it was a financial flop, but
No. I
I think it
success is
broke
success.
even. It broke even.
It broke even.
Shut up.
Oh, I heard
I don't
it was
know.
a
I don't know.
financial
No,
flop.
I think it
I don't
did.
think it was.
It didn't.
I don't think it was a flop.
Considering
read-
it was very expensive, I don't think it was a flop.
Here we have to talk like there's the idealistic, which is if it breaks even, I mean, come on, that's good enough for me. But for Hollywood and for the studios, no, you want to triple.
Do I
your
look like a-
profits.
But to even
child
consider
to you.
that, is admitting that this was a blockbuster, which is already a really good thing because it's a PTA film. We don't really usually put it in the same bag as other summer flicks.
I don't think it was a flop because like it wasn't, like at least according to Wikipedia, like there's it cost like 130 million, it made like 200 something. But there's always marketing that costs a lot of money and they don't include it in the budget. Hollywood budgeting accounting is always very
Mysterious.
I think it probably broke even a little bit to a point where it's not a flop, but it's not like, wow, we gotta give Paul Thomas Anderson 200 million now. No,
Two
I don't
battles
think-
after another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two battles
Yeah.
after another. I don't
Two
think it's gonna
battles
happen.
after another.
And do you think Oscar-wise it has the potential for
I think he
winning
has a
some?
great potential to win
Great
Best Picture.
I mean, full sweep. It's gonna sweep. I don't know.
I think
What do
it's
you
either
think beyond?
one of two, Best Director or Best Picture. One of two is gonna win for sure.
If it wins
But
best
beyond
director,
those, do you think
probably.
it has what nominations?
I think
particularly?
Benicio
Best Supporting Actor for Sean Penn and
true,
or
yeah,
Benicio.
yeah. No, probably Sean.
Probably
Penn,
Sean
yeah.
Penn.
Probably.
Definitely Leonardo DiCaprio is gonna get
Benicio
the
might-
nomination.
Yeah. Benicio is gonna like he was great
Score,
in the
music
Phoenician
as well.
scheme. I feel like he deserves a nomination just for.
But he's
being
not gonna
great
get it for the
into-
Phoenician scheme.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's just reward the man, but yeah, no, it's not gonna.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think. And probably Chase Affinity might get the supporting actress.
Wow.
Maybe
Okay.
they like the you're new here. We're gonna
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in our
welcome.
case, I didn't think it was like super incredible. Like
It would be very funny if he was costume design with that robe and glasses. Although I have
great
to say, one of the very interesting attributes of the movie is that it is made to feel specially in its earlier half, like a 70s style kind of costume design, with the kind of clothes they wear, very flowery, those colorful ties that he wears to the bank. It's very kind of emanating 70s. Even the lettering at first, when they kind of named the immigration kind of prison refugees, the style of the font of the letter is very reminiscent of an old font from then. So I'm mocking the costume design, but it's only because of like
I mean,
Leonardo
it's-
DiCaprio's robes
and
and
it's
glasses.
contemporary. Like it's much easier to be impressive with costume design when you're doing like a period piece. But yeah, nothing like this.
Frankenstein will get costume design.
I think it will definitely
Uh,
get also a cinematography nomination. This one because of the VistaVision shooting aspect
True.
part, and
So yeah, so it's
it is
Score,
beautiful. So
cinematography,
Of course,
director.
cinematography, best supporting actor, director, picture.
score, yeah, that's true.
DiCaprio is DiCaprio. They're probably gonna. They might just give him a nomination.
They will. It's filler by this point. It's like
Not
it needs
filler.
No,
He's great,
he's not always nominated actually.
but he's not all.
to. No. But when you have a big movie, end of the year, Leonardo DiCaprio And these movies by the later half of the year are always meant for the Oscars. You already know, okay, that's going to be at the Oscars and he's going to be
Yeah, but
nominated for Best.
the film came out in September. It wasn't exactly like now.
Still,
Oscar season.
that counts.
Oscar
That
season.
counts.
Yeah, that's right the beginning of Oscar season. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
first
yeah. And
month.
it is.
Yeah.
And even as of late, you even have movies that came out
Yeah,
way
no,
before,
like
March
Sinners.
and whatever.
Sinners
Elvis
is
came
gonna be
out
at
in
the
like
Oscars,
March
and it
or
was
whatever.
July.
But I think that's because it's more of a surprise. It wasn't exactly intended, I think.
Hmm. I don't
At
know.
least in my view, it's like the surprise film rather than it was expected.
I think it happens much more now. I don't know.
The wave, the trend is tend to push it for the later half of the year, September onwards. But then as of late, they always put someone that is of earlier in the year, but it's fewer.
It's fewer, yeah. It's also because of memories. Like they sort of
memory.
lose the cultural significance. But
reference.
like Dune always made it, and it's early in the year. Sinners
It's
is
true.
probably gonna make it. There's
Challenger.
others.
Avatar
Challenger
is
didn't
probably gonna
make it.
I wanted
But
that. Didn't happen.
See, that's a good example of a movie that probably, if it came out
Yeah,
later,
should have.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy that it wasn't.
That's all for today, folks. If you'd like to reach out and suggest a film for the next episode, you can find us on the podcast official Instagram and website pages. Feel free to subscribe, share this episode, or simply give us a like. That's how our podcast can grow ever more groovy. And if you're on YouTube and want to see more videos like this, check out this next video right here. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.